In this video, we'll be going down the top 10 most expensive comic books that have ever been purchased. Trust me, this is not for the faint of heart, as you would need to rob a bank or get multiple jobs to get these comic books. But before we start, remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so it reaches some more people. Right, let's start off with number 10. All-Star Comics number 8. At a CGC grade of 9.4, back in 2022, this copy sold for $1.6 million. This comic is special for two reasons. One, it's the first time you ever see Wonder Woman, one of the cool members of the Justice League. And two, out of all the copies that have gone through CGC to get graded, only 5 have received the blue label. And this means this was an 8 or higher. So getting these sort of copies in that sort of condition are very rare and hard to come by. Trust me when I say, when collectors get their hands on these, they will not be letting this go. Number 9. Detective Comics number 27. SCGC grade of 6.5. Back in 2024, this sold for over $1.8 million. Now, as everyone knows, this was the original birthplace of The Dark Knight, Batman. If it wasn't for this comic, we would not be getting any of these films, any of the animated films or series. But that's not what makes this comic special. Out of all the times that this comic has existed, around 80 comics have gone through CGC, and only a handful of them managed to get a higher grade than a 6.5. Tell me that's not worth chasing. Number 8, Tales of Suspense number 39. At a CGC grade 9.8 in 2023, this went for $2 million. Now again, multiple reasons why this comic is so special. One, this was the birthplace of Iron Man, and two, as you notice from the cover, it's a unique suit from Iron Man. This was the very suit that started the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And my guess is when the Marvel Cinematic Universe hits a certain milestone, this comic will shoot right up. Which means a lot of collectors are going to withhold this certain comic just until the right time. Now at number 7 is Marvel's first family, The Fantastic Four issue 1. Now at a CGC grade of 9.6, back in 2024, this went for just over $2 million. Now like I said, this was Marvel's first family, but this comic was made in such a way that getting this high of a grade was actually really hard to come by, even back then. But back in 2022, a 9.2 copy of the same comic went for $1.5 million. So, let's imagine if a 9.8 come by, or a 10. Imagine what the price might be. There's a door there. Now we're getting to the standalones. At number 6, we got Batman issue 1 at a CGC grade of 9.4. Back in 2021, this went for $2.2 million. Like I said before, this was the first standalone Batman comic, but this also introduced 2 new villains. This introduced Catwoman and the phenomenal Joker. And the Joker was so good in this that it cemented him in history as Batman's greatest villain. Number 5, Marvel Comics issue 1 at a CGC grade of 9.2. Back in 2022, this sold for just under $2.5 million. Now this comic will introduce 2 characters that would later emerge in later comic book history. One is the Human Torch, but different from Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, and 2, the Submariner, that would later be called Namor. Back in October 1939, they only printed 80,000 of this comics, but quickly sold out. They had to do massive reprints of 900,000 comics and had to change the date to November 1939, proving that the superhero market in that era was wide open. Number 4 on the list, Captain America issue 1 at a CGC grade of 9.4. Back in 2022, this comic sold for $1.1 million. Now this comic does stand the test of time. The patriotism, the valor, the heroism in this comic was so immense that this comic actually sold out really rapidly and again cemented the heroes comic book market. And it's the big 3, and we're going to start off with the Amazing Fantasy number 15. With your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man at a CGC grade of 9.6. back in 2021, this comic sold for $3.6 million. Like I said, this was the very birthplace of a lot of people's favorite superhero, Spider-Man. And the interesting thing about this comic, if you watch Golden Touch, King of Collectibles on Netflix, then you might know that this comic book nearly never got made. Around that time, Marvel Comics were in trouble, and they let Stan Lee and Jack Kirby just say they could do whatever they want with a character that they came up with, which would later be known as Spider-Man. The publishing company didn't really have much hope for this character, but Lord and behold, Spider-Man was a big success. And the publishing company orders for a standalone comic series straight away, which would later be known as The Amazing Spider-Man #1. Number 2, Superman Issue 1. At a CGC grade 8, back in 2023, this comic sold for $5.3 million. You would almost never, and I say almost because there's always a possibility, you would almost never get a chance to get a higher grade than this. And I know what you're saying, Superman #1, why isn't it a bit more higher? Even though this is Superman #1, this wasn't the birthplace of Superman. Which leads to the most expensive comic book you can ever buy. At number 1, Action Comics Issue 1. At a CGC grade of 8.5, back in 2024, this sold for $6 million. Now this comic is something every collector should be having their eyes on. This is one of the earlier comic book heroes that's ever been made. Yes, that's right. Action Comics Issue 1 is the very birthplace of Superman, but not just him, also his love interest, Lois Lane. With this comic book, I actually done a little bit of digging on the CGC population report. Out of everything, there's only ever been around 90 comics that have gone through their systems of this. There's only ever been one other 8.5 graded with this. And this is $6 million we're talking about. But I then saw this. There's grade 9s, 2 of them that have been recorded in their population reports. So imagine if those 2 comics ever hit the market. It's unthinkable. I literally think we'd be looking at an 8-figure sale rate at that point. Because getting something higher would be near impossible, like with all these comics. But will we see the sale of these 2 grade 9s? Only time will tell. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually like doing all the research into these comic books because I found a lot of stuff out that I never knew before. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get a chance to do more of these sort of videos so that I can find out more about it. The thing is, like, it doesn't need to stop at cards and comic books. There's also video games, there's also movies, there's movie props. I'll tell you what, I might actually do movie props next because I found out something about the Ruby Slippers from Wizard of Oz. Right guys, if you like this video, please give it a like and also remember to subscribe to the channel as we are on the road to 100 subscribers. Right guys, I'll see you later.